We'll be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. This Honorable Supreme Court of Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Justice Holly Kirby is presiding. God save the United States of America, the state of Tennessee, and this honorable court.
Welcome to the Supreme Court virtual swearing-in ceremony for new bar admittees. My name is Holly Kirby. I'm a justice on the Tennessee Supreme Court. I live in Memphis, but I'm here on behalf of all 5 court members from all over the state. We are gathered virtually today to make it official for the new bar admittees scheduled to become lawyers today. It's a great achievement for anyone to be admitted to law school, survive 3 years or more of difficult law school courses, graduate, and pass the bar exam. It's always true that many of those who become licensed lawyers have to overcome significant obstacles to do so. For all of you here today, this is doubly, triply, and even quadruply true. For you, the entire process was deeply affected by the pandemic. Your law school classes were undoubtedly disruptive, and certainly the bar exam process was. There were delays, postponements, and uncertainty, and then finally we moved to a whole new online bar exam. All of you had to ride that roller coaster with us. So congratulations to all of you on surviving that process, on passing the bar examination, completing all of the requirements to be admitted as an attorney in Tennessee, and making it here today. In fact, here is an official gold star in recognition of your special achievement. This is actually a topper for my Christmas tree, but you get the idea. You have encountered and overcome special obstacles. We are proud of each and every one of you. And a gold star as well for the family and friends who are here virtually in support of you. Nobody reaches this happy day without help. Many of your family and friends made significant sacrifices so that you could achieve your dream of becoming a lawyer. We as a court want to acknowledge their important contributions as well. The swearing-in ceremony for new lawyers is perhaps the happiest ceremony the court conducts. Most of our proceedings are hotly contested with a winner and a very unhappy loser. In this ceremony, all motions are granted and everyone gets to leave a winner. Today's ceremony has 2 parts: individual motions for the admission of each new attorney, and then a joint oath. New admittees with individual sponsors will go first in alphabetical order, except we have 1 judge sponsor, and judges are special, so they get to go first. As each new admittee is spotlighted virtually, the sponsors will make a motion for his or her admission. After we finish with the bar admittees with individual sponsors, the remaining admittees will be spotlighted individually, also in alphabetical order. And Michelle Sellers, president of the Tennessee Bar Association and a fine example of Tennessee's excellent legal community, will sponsor and move for his or her admission to the bar. After all of the motions are granted, I will administer the oath of office to all of you at once. So hang on after your motion is granted, or you won't have completed the process. During all of this, note that we have a chat function for you to post comments on your favorite new admittee. We love the chats. So post liberally and be aware that this is a very informal, it is a legal court ceremony, but it's very informal. Don't worry if you have children in the background and they run on screen. In fact, you can have them with you if you want, or anybody else who is special to you. Don't worry if a dog barks in the background. This ceremony is for you. You've already heard from our clerk of our appellate courts, Jim Hibner, who also serves as marshal in this court proceeding. Mr. Hibner, his staff, and our crack IT team make this ceremony possible. You may not know that this series of swearing-in ceremonies comes on the heels of great disruption caused to the court system by the Christmas Day bombing in Nashville. Mr. Hibner, his staff, and our wonderful IT staff had to give up much of their holiday to keep the court systems running as required in our state constitution. The court thanks all of them for their sacrifice and their professionalism. Now, President Sellers, would you like to say a few words to our admittees?
Thank you, Justice Kirby. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to make a few remarks. My name is Michelle Greenway Sellers, and I'm the president of the Tennessee Bar Association. And this is perhaps the very best part of my job, to congratulate you for your accomplishments, to join you in celebration today, and to welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. My favorite part of the day is the fact that no one leaves without a smile on their face. This is truly a great day, and I know that many of you have friends and family who have been instrumental in this journey. And on behalf of the bar, I would like to thank them for their sacrifices that made this day possible. And I would encourage you to thank them as well. This journey has been different for everyone here today. What called you to law school, motivated you to do the work, and sit for the bar is unique to each one of you. While our differences will bring strength to the profession, we share an enduring loyalty to the core principles which define who we are in the profession: civility, respect for the rule of law, and an agreement to hold ourselves to higher standards for the benefit of the public. The practice of law can be difficult, but it also can be very rewarding. You are entering the profession at an exciting time and a time of change. There will be opportunities for your leadership and your guidance, and I strongly encourage you to embrace those opportunities and to help shape the future of our profession. I encourage you to get involved in the Tennessee Bar Association Young Lawyers Division and get involved at your local bar associations. The individuals that you meet and you get to know in those bar associations will become friends throughout your career. They will help you throughout your work life and your day-to-day life. They will help you with your pro bono activities, and they will help you to serve the community and the legal community. Well, I want you to know that you're part of a legal family now that stretches out across the state of Tennessee. We're a caring profession, and we stand ready to assist one another. We are very proud of you and your accomplishments, and we look forward to you joining our ranks. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, President Sellers. The court agrees with your eloquent remarks and your suggestion that these new lawyers join their local bar associations and start forming relationships that make them part of the legal community. I will take the liberty now of making a few remarks about your new role in society as a lawyer. My wonderful colleague on the Tennessee Supreme Court, Justice Connie Clark, likes to highlight to new lawyers the words of the first female justice on the United States Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor. And I will follow Justice Clark's lead. Justice O'Connor wrote passionately about the role of lawyers in a democratic republic in her 2003 book, The Majesty of the Law. Her words resonate today, where recent national events have shown the importance of lawyers, judges, and our state and federal justice systems in preserving equal rights and the rule of law. Justice O'Connor said, "Democracy takes work and time and constant effort. Freedom and equality are not achieved overnight. Liberty requires us to place ourselves in another's shoes, to see that things may not be as fair or as equitable as they appear from our own vantage point. Justice compels us to understand the rage, to feel the pain, to respond to the cries. Although it is easy to become impatient and disheartened by process failure and social discord, we must all take the long view of democratic change. Democracy also requires a strong judicial system in which wrongdoers, no matter how influential, are punished, and victims, no matter how powerless, gain relief. Only with an independent judiciary can there be any assurance that justice will be served. One of the strongest pillars of democracy is the development of an educated citizenry. Establishing the right to vote is essential, but as we've discovered in the United States, citizens may not participate in the political process unless they understand it and believe they can make a difference. Lawyers possess the key to justice under a rule of law, the key that opens the courtroom door. That key is not held for lawyers' own private purposes. It is held in trust for those who would seek justice, rich and poor alike. While a business can afford to focus solely on profits, a profession cannot. It must devote itself first to the community it is responsible to serve. Justice O'Connor's words are even more true today. We on the court recognize that you have to make money, you have to make a living, but we urge you to fully inhabit the special role of lawyers in our society. I'm betting that even though you are only becoming licensed today, many of you have already become the in-house lawyer for your family and your friends. You have a sphere of influence. We urge you to use it for the good. Use your platform as a lawyer to educate those around you about the importance of the rule of law, the principle that all of us must operate within the bounds of the law, and all of us are entitled to basic rights. Educate your friends and family about the basic differences between the branches of government, the importance of having independent judges, and why lawyers are obliged to bring facts and evidence to court, not just conjecture. Most of all, look out for our most vulnerable citizens and use your gifts to support and defend their rights under the law. That's the end of my preaching. And now it's time to hear the motions for admission. We'll start with the admittees with individual sponsors, followed by the admittees being introduced by President Sellers. Judge Smith, will you lead us off, please?
Certainly will. Thank you, Justice Kirby, and may it please the court. I echo all of your remarks as well as those of Mr. Hibner, and would like to thank you and Mr. Hibner and the ASC for making this possible. It's certainly one of my fondest memories from having begun my practice, and I'm grateful that you were able to find a way for that to happen for the new admittees today. It's my great pleasure to introduce Eliza Jones. Eliza served as my former law clerk and also the former law clerk of Judge Ross Dyer. Eliza is a graduate of Florida State University and the CCC Humphrey School of Law. She will now be a practicing attorney with the firm of Blanco Brown here in town, and we are honored to have her and look forward to having her here in the courts of Shelby County. I know that Eliza has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law before this bar and is of highest moral character. I therefore happily move for her admission to practice before this court and all the courts of the state of Tennessee.
Judge Smith, the court is most pleased to grant your motion. Ms. Jones, you have had a fine clerking experience for 2 excellent judges, and you're going with an excellent firm. I predict you will have a long and satisfying legal career. So congratulations to you and welcome to the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Boston, we're ready when you are.
Presiding Judge Kirby, on behalf of the entire court, my name is Bob Boston. I've been a member of the Tennessee and Nashville Bar for the last 38 years. It is a distinct professional honor and a delight to introduce my proposed candidate today, Elizabeth Boston Malloy. Ms. Boston is a graduate of the Vanderbilt University Law School and is a recently arrived attorney at my law firm of Waller, Lanston, Dorch, and Davis, where I am proud to say she will practice litigation with her father. Ms. Boston has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law in the state of Tennessee. She has the privilege of being the 12th and most recent progeny of other lawyers in her immediate family, starting with her grandfather through to great uncles, through parents, sisters, in-laws, nieces, and nephews of mine, and we are honored to have her join the bar today. I ask and I move the court to admit her to practice honorably, ethically, humbly, and proudly before this court and all the courts of the state of Tennessee.
Mr. Boston, the court is so pleased to grant your motion. How special it must be to be able to introduce your daughter to the Supreme Court and bring her into the practice of law. What a proud moment for your whole family. Now, I want to make sure that I get the new bar admittee's last name right. Is it Boston or Malloy?
It's Boston at this current juncture, but it will be Malloy once I get my name changed. I was married recently, but I have been procrastinating. So it's Boston.
Gotcha. Well, we are so pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. You obviously have the law in your blood, and I predict you will have a wonderful legal career surrounded by many potential advisors to make sure that you do not stray. So welcome to the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Polly, so glad to see you.
It's good to see you, Justice Kirby. Good afternoon. Erin Palmer Polly. I'm a member of the Nashville Bar. I would like to introduce the court to Savannah Darnell. Savannah graduated from Belmont University with honors. She went on to the University of Tennessee College of Law, where she also graduated with honors and where she served as the president of Law Women. I have known Savannah for 3 years now. 2 years, she was a summer associate here at Butler Snow. And then recently she joined Butler Snow as a practicing lawyer. It has been an absolute privilege to be her law partner. She is going to do great things in her career. I'm personally excited to watch them. For all those reasons, she has met all of the requirements to practice before the courts of the state. And Justice Kirby, I respectfully move her admission to practice before this court and before the courts of the state of Tennessee.
Ms. Polly, the court is most pleased to grant your motion. Anyone who Erin Polly thinks so highly of is going to do a great job as a lawyer, and I'm so pleased to have you, Ms. Darnell, as part of the bar in Tennessee. Now, did I notice earlier on camera maybe some family members? So I'm gonna congratulate them as well, because I have a feeling that they helped support you realizing your dream. Congratulations and welcome to the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Thank you, Justice Kirby.
Mr. Frankel,
Yes, good afternoon, Justice Kirby.
you will be introducing Mr. There we go. Okay, good.
There he is. May it please the court, I am Hillel Frankel. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar. I would like to introduce Jacob Davis Lane, a graduate of Belmont School of Law, and also my law clerk for the last year and a half. He worked with me honorably and conscientiously and helped me in all sorts of preparation of trademarks, copyrights, documents. It was a wonderful relationship. And so I am excited to present Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Jacob Davis Lane's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Mr. Frankel, the court is pleased to grant your motion. Mr. Lane, it sounds like you have already been in the thick of it. We are pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee, and congratulations to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Askew, you may proceed.
May it please the court, Your Honor. My name is Taylor Askew. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, and I practice with the law firm of Waller, Lanston, Dorch, and Davis. I'd like to introduce my brother-in-law, Casey Malloy. He's a graduate of the Vanderbilt Law School, and he's going to be a first-year associate at Bass Berry here in Nashville. They're very lucky to have him. I personally know that Casey has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law before this bar, and it is my privilege and pleasure to therefore move for Casey's admission to practice before this court and all of the courts of Tennessee.
Mr. Askew, the court is most pleased to grant your motion. Mr. Malloy, that's pretty great to have one of your in-laws introduce you, and you are joining a fine law firm. Congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Duhart?
May it please the court, I am Casey Duhart. I am an associate at Waller, Lanston, Dorch, and Davis in our labor and employment practice group. I'm also a member of the Nashville Bar. I would like to introduce Kinshandra Mitchell, who is a graduate of West Virginia University College of Law. And upon graduation, she was selected to the Order of the Coif as well as the Order of Barristers. And she is an associate at Waller, Lanston, Dorch, and Davis in our labor and employment practice group. I am ecstatic that she is now my sister-in-law as of today after this ceremony. And Kinshandra has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Kinshandra's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Duhart. The court is very pleased to grant your motion. It sounds like a very impressive resume, Ms. Mitchell. We're pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. Welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And our last sponsor.
May it please the court, I'm Austin Schofield. I'm a member of the Memphis and Tennessee Bar. I'm currently working at the Shelby County District Attorney's Office, and it's my great pleasure to introduce my sister, Ariel Resnick, as a graduate of the University of Tennessee Law School. She is currently clerking for the Chancery Court in Chattanooga. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar, and therefore move for Ariel Resnick's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Well, Mr. Schofield, the court is pleased to grant your motion. How wonderful to be able to introduce your sister to the Tennessee Supreme Court. That's great. Ms. Resnick, very pleased to have you. Now, who are you working with on the Chancery bench in Chattanooga?
I'm clerking for Chancellor Atherton and Chancellor Fleener.
That's great. You will have a great experience. Welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Hibner, does that complete all of our individual sponsors at this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sellers, we will begin with the admittees introduced by you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, I'm Michelle Greenway Sellers. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, and I would like to introduce Pooja Berry. She is a graduate of Austin Peay State University and the Nashville School of Law. Her honors include being that she founded the Legal Aid Society of the Nashville School of Law, and she has volunteered over 800 pro bono hours. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar, and I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, the court is pleased to grant your motion. Ms. Berry, I can see that you have your values as a lawyer already firmly entrenched. We're so grateful to you for your service, and I predict that you will have a particularly satisfying legal career since you are already incorporating that kind of pro bono service. Congratulations and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Taylor Caleb. She is a graduate of the University of Alabama and Vanderbilt University Law School. Her honors include the Dean's List and Dean's Scholar. She'll be associated with Adams and Reese. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Taylor Caleb's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
We are pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Caleb, you have a great background and you're joining a wonderful firm. Welcome to the practice of law. You will have a long and satisfying legal career.
Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Clint Coleman. He is a graduate of Young Harris College and Lincoln Memorial University Duncan School of Law. He graduated magna cum laude. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Clint Coleman's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is most pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Mr. Coleman, congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Alexis Crutchfield. She is a graduate of Samford University and Howard University School of Law. She will be associated with Miller and Martin. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Alexis Crutchfield's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Crutchfield, you will be a great addition to the bar. We're so pleased to have you. Congratulations and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Jake D'Agostino. He is a graduate of Middle Tennessee State University and Belmont University Law School. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
We are happy to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Mr. D'Agostino, we're very pleased to have you. You have a great smile, and all lawyers need to bring a great smile into the courtroom. Congratulations and practice, and welcome to the practice of law.
Your Honor, thank you so much.
I would like to introduce Tyler Dembski. He is a graduate of the University of Alabama and Lincoln Memorial University Duncan School of Law. His honors include graduation cum laude. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Mr. Dembski, congratulations to you, and we're pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Miranda DeRico. She is a graduate of Westminster College and the Lincoln Memorial University Duncan School of Law. She will be associated with North Wind Group. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, on behalf of the court, we're pleased to grant your motion. Ms. DeRico, congratulations to you, and we're very pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Michael Richard Ferentz. He is a graduate of Arcadia University and Penn State Law. His honors include the Arbitration Law Review Senior Editor. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Mr. Ferentz, congratulations to you. We're very pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Alexis Nicole Garton. She is a graduate of the University of South Florida and Stetson University College of Law. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
On behalf of the court, Ms. Sellers, your motion is granted. Ms. Garten, we're very happy to have you in Tennessee, and welcome to the practice of law here. Oh, you were muted. I want to hear that. Thank you. Go back to Ms. Garten.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay, you are welcome.
I would like to introduce Lauren Nicole Gray. She is a graduate of the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and the Cecil C. Humphreys School of Law. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Your motion is granted, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Gray, congratulations to you. We're very pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. Oh, do that again.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ah, very good. Thank you, and you're welcome.
I would like to introduce Cassidy Michelle Halbig. She is a graduate of East Tennessee State University and Lincoln Memorial University Duncan School of Law. Her honors include the Dean's List and a Cali Award winner. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
On behalf of the court, your motion is granted, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Halbig, very glad to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. Congratulations and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Zachary Henson. He is a graduate of Eastern Kentucky University and Duke University School of Law. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Your motion is granted, Ms. Sellers. Mr. Henson, we're pleased to have you in Tennessee. It sounds like you have a very interesting background, and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Megan Jane McTeague. She is a graduate of St. Joseph's University and Marquette University Law School. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is pleased to grant your motion, Ms. McTeague. You also get the Smile Award, so bring that into the courtroom every time. Congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
So much, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Robert Clive Marks, Jr. He is a graduate of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga and the Nashville School of Law. His honors include being on the Dean's List from 2017 to 2020, and he was a law student for justice. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Your motion is granted, Mr. Marks. You get the Room Rater Award for today. Very pleased. You should be very pleased. And to be on Dean Koch's list, that's a pretty good list to be on. So congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Karina Martinez Arganzoni. She is a graduate of the University of South Florida and Stetson University College of Law. She has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
The court is most pleased to grant your motion, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Martinez Arganzoni, did I say that correctly?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. I get the pronunciation award then. Congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Joshua Daniel Minchin. He is a graduate of the University of Florida and Vanderbilt Law School. His honors include being the editor-in-chief of the Vanderbilt Journal of Transactional Law and the president of the Vanderbilt Law School Honor Council. He will be a law clerk for the Honorable Gregory Van Tattenhove of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Kentucky. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, the court is pleased to grant your motion. Mr. Minchin, clerking is such a great gig. I'm so pleased to see you doing it. I predict that you will really enjoy it. Now you have to introduce to the court who you have with you looking on proudly.
Absolutely, Your Honor. This is Caitlin, my wife, and the best support system I could ever imagine going through law school and studying for and taking the bar these last few years. So I'm more than happy to introduce her to you, Your Honor.
Well, you will not only be a good lawyer, but you are a wise husband. So congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Benjamin Thomas Norris. He is a graduate of Marshall University and Belmont University College of Law. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, the court is most pleased to grant your motion. Mr. Norris, congratulations to you, and we're very pleased to have you part of the bar in Tennessee. Oh, you are muted. Try it again. Is it going to work? We had a little trouble. All right, you just have to wave. Thank you.
Hello.
Oh, got it. All right, very good.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
That's all right. We're very pleased to have you. We want to make sure that you're fully part of the ceremony. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Jennifer Faith Schlump. She is a graduate of Southern Nazarene University and the Antonin Scalia Law School at George Mason University. Her honors include being editor-in-chief of the George Mason University Civil Rights Law Journal. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, the court is pleased to grant your motion, and sounds like you have a great background, Ms. Schlump. Congratulations to you, and we have stiff competition for Best Smile Award today. I like that very much. Congratulations and welcome to the practice of law.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Kayla Renee Sewell. She's a graduate of Sewanee, the University of the South, and the University of Tennessee College of Law. Her honors include graduation cum laude. She will be associated with Waller, Lansing, Dortch, and Davis. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Ms. Sellers, we're pleased to grant your motion. Ms. Sewell, sounds like you are joining a great law firm and you will have a great legal experience. Congratulations to you and welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anyone else, Mr. Hebner?
Your Honor, that is everyone.
Great. All right. Now comes the big moment, the oath. Please unmute yourself so that we can hear you. We want to hear all of you. I'll give you a minute to do that. If you can stand and stay on camera, do that. But regardless, please raise your right hand where you are. I'll let you get assembled where you are. Look like everybody is ready? All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I Alexis Touchfield
Austin.
I love how that sounds, the whole jumble of names. I do solemnly swear or affirm.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee. And
and the
Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
in the practice of my profession,
in the practice of my
Profession.
I will conduct myself
I will conduct myself
with honesty,
honesty,
fairness, integrity,
integrity,
and civility,
Civility.
to the best of my skill and abilities.
to the best of my
skill and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
God.
Congratulations to you. Gold star to everybody. Welcome to the bar. We look forward to working with you in the practice of law. And that will conclude this most happy court proceeding. Go celebrate. We stand adjourned.
Congratulations. This honorable court is now adjourned.